All right, sports fans, we're back. We're going to talk a little bit of MLB here as the season wrapped up a couple weeks ago with the San Francisco Giants taking off the Detroit Tigers in a dominant fashion, a 4-0 sweep over the very powerful Detroit Tigers. San Francisco Giants World Series champs. Logan and I, we had a lot of heated discussions over Twitter and even Facebook on these topics for baseball. So we're going to get right into it here with the San Francisco Giants, and the biggest topic we always discussed was what wins you a championship? What did the San Francisco Giants do so much better than every team out there in the postseason this year? Were they dominant? Was it lesser competition? Was it pitching? Was it hitting?
I think it's dominance. Anytime you look at the San Francisco Giants, 2 World Series championships in the last 3 years. Okay, the National League has been dominating. Now, is the National League dominating it? I don't necessarily think that. I think it's a year-to-year thing. You go into the postseason, you could have made a case for the Tigers, for the Yankees, for the Rangers to win a World Series. The fact that they didn't do it, it's just parity. And that's what I love about baseball, is that this is the most wide-open sport, and there's the most parity of any other sport, professional sport at least. So I really like that. The other thing I'd like to point out is that pitching, they do pitch the ball well. You look at sitting at home watching the game, and I see Tim Lincecum as a possible MVP candidate. He didn't even start a game.
Right.
He came in 2 times for relief. They got Madison Bumgarner, Matt Cain, Barry Zito, Ryan Vogelsong. I mean, you got guys, they got so many pitchers to plug in, it doesn't matter. It made Bruce Bochy's job relatively easy.
Right, I agree 100% with you. And like I said, we had a lot of discussions about this, and pitching is important. And I'm not saying pitching is not the only thing that wins you a championship. I think it does take great pitching, but you need timely hitting too. And I think the San Francisco Giants definitely did that. Their pitching shut down the Giants, or shut down the Tigers. They got a stacked lineup in Detroit.
The biggest point with this has to be, you can say that pitching, maybe the hitting was just poor, right? These are the Detroit Tigers, okay? These guys, you look at Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Delman Nuggets, murderers roll for everybody all through the season and all through the postseason, and then they get against the Giants pitching. The Giants pitching just absolutely shut them down. The Detroit Tigers were lost. Now, Pablo Sandoval, 2 huge bombs against Verlander, and then 1 a little bit later in Game 1. But other than that, it was a lot of little dink and dunk here and there. Okay, the pitching, bottom line, saved San Francisco because Detroit never got that big hit.
Right.
They never got that 2 guys on and hit a double or put 1 out. All right, and had Detroit got that like they had all year, this series is completely different. The Giants might still win, but it's not a 4-0 sweep.
Right. Well, let's talk about your team, the Yanks. They had a tough team. They had a tough run in the
There's always things to talk about if you're a Yankee fan, and this was a devastating year. I really thought we had it this year. I thought this was our year to get back to the series. We were there in 2009. We weren't there now for this been 3 years, and it's 3 long years, because every year when you're a Yankees fan, you expect to win a world championship. You don't hope, you don't pray, you expect to win one. And that makes it really hard. Now, what's next for the Yankees? Obviously, you got your big storylines. Rafael Soriano opting out of his contract. The Yankees did offer contracts to some of their guys. Hiroki Kuroda, they offered a contract to Nick Swisher. They don't know if they're going to get these guys back, but they're offering them the money, trying to get them. Mariano Rivera recently said he is coming back. He will be back.
Right. And
that's huge for the Yankees. But obviously, the one that everyone's waiting for me to get to, it's the hugest one out there. What's the deal with A-Rod? What's going to happen? And my opinion on A-Rod, no one's going to take his salary. He's going to be there. They got to just make it work. They have to make it work. If it doesn't work, it's going to be a long few years. Or else you just cut him and pay him out. Because there's nobody that's going to take this guy and give you anything back unless they want to dump a salary that's not working for them.
Well, and I agree with you that he is going to be a New York Yankee next year, on the fact that you said there's too much money there. They can't have that much on their books and not have A-Rod there to bring in money, because A-Rod sells tickets, A-Rod sells merchandise. There's still A-Rod fans out there. But the one thing I kind of disagree with you on is I don't think it's set in stone that he's going to be back there. I think there's teams out there like the Marlins, that are willing to take the risk on A-Rod just for the fact that, like I said, he sells tickets. He brings money in. You know, I think there's teams out there that say, you know what, who cares? Let's give this guy what he wants. Let's pay him because he's going to bring in twice as much money. You know, because if they get him, the Yankees are still paying him. If they get him. If they cut him, make him a free agent, the Yankees are still paying him. These guys can get him basically for free and bring in money on selling tickets and stuff like that.
Well, the Yankees, if they're still going to pay him, they're not going to get him up. It's going to have to be a combination. I see what you're saying. They're still going to pay a portion.
Right.
There's no way the Yankees are going to send A-Rod to Miami or send A-Rod to Los Angeles or wherever and pay his entire salary for them to use him. It's not going to work like that. But yeah, there will be a combination, pay a portion of the salary, and it might just be better off for the Yankees, to be quite honest with you, to write him a check and let him walk.
Yep.
Because I don't see this working out unless he can turn it around. It's all his play on the field. If he can start hitting the ball, he's playing defense. If he can start hitting the ball, he can start hitting the ball out of the ballpark, driving in runs. That's what we want to see.
Yep.
We don't mind the striking out. I don't mind seeing A-Rod strike out 6 times in a 14 at bat postseason. But I want to see him hit the ball out twice. I want to see him hit a couple doubles, drive in 4 or 5 runs.
Yep,
if I see that, I don't mind the strikeouts. Okay, it's not his struggles striking out; it's his struggles hitting the ball deep. You know, I don't want to see singles from A-Rod. He's batting number 4 for a reason.
Right.
They got to start seeing it, and if they don't, trust me, the Steinbrenner family has always been known. They're not afraid to walk away from a lot of money.
Right.
It's not like they need it.
Well, and one thing, this is just a point off topic, but following Donald Trump, and he was on Town Covered a couple weeks ago talking about this same issue. And the one thing he says is Yankees should sue A-Rod for breach of contract. When they signed him, he said I was not on performance-enhancing drugs, and then it comes out that he is. You know, that's, in Donald Trump's eyes, in the legal world, that might be enough to do a breach of contract where they can let him go and not pay him.
Right.
So that's an option for the Yankees too.
That's something to look into, and I don't want to get into the legal thing, but they will. They will. And if it's able to be done, it will be done.
Yep.
And it's just a question of if they will or not. But you know, A-Rod's a never-ending discussion because he just always seems to draw that attention, and the pressure really gets to him. Someone who doesn't get to, Derek Jeter. Thoughts on him?
Derek Jeter, you know, greatest baseball player in my generation. I'm a Ken Griffey Jr. fan, but he's nowhere even close to what Derek Jeter has done from the long-standing effect he's had on the Yankees. You know, his best year by far is a Yankee. 216 hits. You know, in my vote, MVP of that team, heart and soul of that team, if you ask me.
The longevity Derek Jeter has had in New York is unsurpassable. Just because he's been playing since 1995.
Yeah.
The guy's been playing 17, 18 seasons for one team. He's making a lot of money, but this year when he broke his ankle, that's his first big injury.
Right.
You know, he's Iron Man. He's the Cal Ripken of this generation.
Yep.
You know, he's out there playing all the time, and he's getting production. Like you said, 216 hits. You know, his average is 183 hits a season in his career. You know, just went over 3,000 last season with the home run.
Right.
But he's got 3,304 hits. Okay, in 18 years, that's 183 hits a year. That's right there. You know, that's a better average than what Pete Rose had.
Right.
The difference is Pete Rose ended up playing 24 years rather than 18. So is Derek Jeter going to pass him? It's possible, but I don't think he will. Just because the guy still needs 952 hits. You know, he'd have to play 5 more seasons, putting him at 43 years old to pass Pete Rose. And it's not just the fact that, he can play when he's 43, but is he going to be putting up 183 hits a year?
Here's the thing. Here's what I did, and I'm going to apologize to Colin Cowherd because I believe I stole this from him. I don't know if I used the same numbers this season. Pete Rose is Derek Jeter's 38 years old now. Pete Rose played till he was 45, so that gives Jeter 7 more years of playing. He had 216 hits this year. You diminish his hits by 20 hits a year until he's 45. That puts him next year 196. Year after that 176, 156, 136, 116, 96. And then 76 when he's 45 years old. You can't tell me that Derek Jeter, 45 years old, DHing for someone, maybe playing a little bit of field, is not going to get 76 hits when he's 45 years old.
He's going to get 100.
If you do that, that puts him exactly at 952 hits to tie Pete Rose. All he has to do is get one more hit than what I or Colin Cowherd projected, and he's going to break Pete Rose's record. I am saying it right now. He is going to break Pete Rose's all-time hit record if he plays till 45 years old.
There's intangibles that come into this. Okay, there's injuries. Can he stay healthy? There's can he play 162 games a season? You know, he's done it before. Can he continue to do it?
Well, he played 160 out of 162 this year. He's a prime example of how to prepare yourself year after year after year, and he knows how to prepare himself when he gets older. He's going to play enough games. He's going to do it.
It's all a matter if he wants to. I mean, I'm not. How can you say that he's going to want to be playing baseball when he's 45? We don't know that. You know, that's 7 years away.
Right.
That's the thing. You know,
right.
We don't know that right now. It's possible. That's why I said it's possible. I just feel it's unlikely because he's got to play so long. You know, yeah, Pete Rose played till he's 45. Who knows if Derek Jeter wants to do that? Derek Jeter might want to retire. You don't know.
Right.
Derek Jeter could win a World Series next year, ride off into the sunset on top, and be done with baseball.
Yep.
Will he do it? I don't know. It's just a matter of what Derek Jeter wants, really, what it comes down to.
You're absolutely right. One other thing we want to touch on in MLB is Ozzie Guillen, out as manager and as the Marlins manager. Surprisingly, was pretty nice about things. He said he wishes them luck. You know, probably the most calm I've seen Ozzie Guillen in a while. What do you think? Is he going to land somewhere?
Prime Ozzie Guillen. Ozzie Guillen was not wishing the Marlins luck. Ozzie Guillen was cursing the Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, and everybody knows it. He wasn't wishing Mike Redmond luck with the job. He's not saying that they have a bunch of good guys. Ozzie Guillen knows they don't have good guys. That's why they lost. That's why he got fired. Now, them losing, Miami may have put up with that. The Fidel Castro situation really played huge in this, just because the Miami Marlins, with Fidel Castro saying he appreciates him, he admires him. There's a lot of Cuban Americans in Miami that really don't care for Fidel Castro. I don't know if you know this or not.
Wow.
But it's kind of just how it is.
Yeah.
And him saying that, making those comments, really didn't go over well with them. I hope Ozzie Guillen isn't done. I hope he gets another chance. I don't know if he will. But the guy plays hard, he plays the right way, he managed the wrong way, he protects his players. He's going to go out there, the umpire makes a bad call on his players, Ozzie Guillen's going to go out there, rip his guy off, throw him in the dugout, and chew that umpire's butt and get ejected for that play.
Right.
You know, he'll do anything. He'll put his team on his back and do anything. And I hope someone goes and gets him. I really do.
I do too. I think he's a great manager for all the points you stated. And it's more fun to see him in a uniform managing a team than to see him not managing a team and sitting on ESPN doing broadcast.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So let's do it. Let's do our next year World Series prediction. Who do you got?
Same as this year. I'm picking the Yankees over the Nationals. You can pick the Yankees every year because you know they're going to be there in the run for the postseason. Well, if they make the postseason, they obviously have a chance to win. I think the Nationals is more of a sure bet for me because Steven Strasburg will be with them in the postseason. Anytime you look at, to win a World Series championship, ideally you only have to win 12 games. Now I say only, that's how many games you have to win. And actually it's 11 because it's 3 out of 5 in the first round, then 4 to 7, then 4 to 7. Okay, but if you end up playing all the games, even if you go the distance, okay, that's 5 and 7 is 12 and 7 is 19. Steven Strasburg is going to get, potentially a chance to get like 6 starts in those 19 games. Okay, if you only have to win 12 and Steven Strasburg gets 6 starts, that's 6 pretty good shots to win a game. Now we know Justin Verlander was a guy that we thought was untouchable in starting the postseason. He turned out to get beat up a little bit in that game, won the World Series. But if you got a guy like Strasburg, you got a guy like Gio Gonzalez, they got the pitching to do it, and we know the offense is there. It just came down to, I think if Strasburg's on the team, I don't think the Cardinals beat him. Okay? No. I don't think the Giants beat the Washington Nationals. I think the Nationals make the World Series. Do they win it? I don't know. We don't ever know that, but I think Strasburg's a big deal. On the Yankees, you know what? They just got to finish. Sabathia goes good all year. Andy Pettit had a great year. Kuroda, Mariano Rivera was doing great until he got hurt, and then Rafael Serrano, David Robertson, the bullpen pitched well. They just didn't finish, and it starts with Robinson Cano, Alex Rodriguez, Mark Teixeira. Those guys did not play well in the postseason. The Robinson Cano, there was a time he was like 0 for 23 in the playoffs.
0.77 average in the playoffs.
You can't win that. And A-Rod struggled. We know he did. Mark Teixeira didn't play well. Jeter got hurt. To me, when Jeter got hurt, I knew it was over. I knew it was over for the Yankees. Okay. Once Jeter was hurt, it was just all going downhill. I think he'll come back. The Yankees, you know they're going to make a splash. I guarantee they make a splash. They go get someone that they think's going to make a change. And that's my pick, the Yankees over Nationals.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you on that, except I'm going to go Nationals over Yankees, just for the reasons you said.
I think the main thing I go with the Yankees over Nationals is the experience. Can the Nationals win that big series? And maybe once they get there, they'll have enough experience built up that they can.
Right. And like you said, there's a lot of intangibles out there. Are the Nationals going to let Steven Strasburg pitch in the postseason, or are they going to cut him off at 185 innings?
Exactly.
Is A-Rod, I think A-Rod, if A-Rod comes back to New York, I think he's gonna come back and be strong. And Jeter's always strong for him. They got the talent to do it. They just, like you said, they need to finish.
Well, we'll come back after a little break here, and last thing we'll go over is we're going to do our power rankings in the NFL. This is Double D Sports Show.